Instead of dropping the entire row or column if there is a missing data, you can actually fill in the missing value with a meaningful value. And depending on the data type, depending on the situation, you might want to take one or more of these approaches to fill in the missing data. For instance, a very commonly used approach is filling the missing data with 0. When would you use this? Suppose if the column that you are trying to fill in is fair, right, and you are noticing some missing values in fair. It could be possible that that person did not pay anything to get on board. For example, for Titanic data, if the fair value is not present, if it is missing, it could be possible the person did not pay anything. In such case, it would be meaningful to replace that field or that cell with 0. Likewise, if it is a categorical data, a very usual approach to do is fill in the missing with the most frequently occurring data. Especially if in your categorical data, if one particular category is occurring a lot of time, if it is dominating your categorical column, then taking this approach is more meaningful. Alternately, for numeric data, taking the mean or a median is a very common approach. This is the most common approach. All right. For sequential data, you have a data that is having a definite sequence to it. That is, one data point occurs after another in a certain sequence. You might want to forward fill or backward fill the data. That is, forward fill means you want to fill in the missing value with the previously occurring value. That is forward fill. Backward fill means you are filling it with the next occurring value. That is backward fill. Interpolation is, in case of sequential or ordered data, you can interpolate a value that is missing in between. We will see an example based on this also. You need to be careful whenever you are doing interpolation. All right, so let's see all of this with an example. Let's start with Titanic data. So the data set looks something like this. We have created some missing values over here. All right, we have missing values. Now, how you can fill the missing values with 0 is just use fill NA. There is a method called fill NA. Just pass 0 to it. It will fill everything with 0. So this is one approach. Fill with the most frequent value is another approach. So you need to definitely find out which is the most frequent value. For the sex column, the most frequent value is male here. It is almost 50-50, right? So this may not be the best case to use filling with the most frequent value because the ratio is 50-50. But imagine like it is 40%, 40 units of male and just 2 units of female. 2 items female and 40 items were male. If that is the case, definitely if you see a missing value in data, you might be tending to fill it with male. Let's run this and implement it. So this is the frequent value at this point. 22 males is present and let's fill it. All right, so that is one approach. Another approach is you might want to fill in the missing value with a third category, not with the most frequently occurring, but a third category that you can create on the go. Here in this case, the third category is empty, male, female, and empty. Now let's look at the other one, filling it with the mean or the median. When filling it with mean or median, you can take two approaches. Say for filling up missing values in fair, you have this column called fair. You also have a column called P class, passenger class. Now say you have a missing value over here. To fill this up, you might want to fill it up with the mean of the entire column and fill it up here. Another approach is, suppose if this particular observation belongs to class 1, right? Then what you could do is you could take the mean of all the observations, all the fairs that belong to class 1 and fill this value with that. That is a better approach definitely compared to taking the mean of the entire column. To do that, you need to first group by based on the P class, take the fair, then apply fill NA. Here it should not be fill NA 0, it should be the mean. Apply the mean of fair and then it should get it filled. So let's compute the mean of this x dot mean and it should give you the result. So that's how you do filling with mean or median. Median also should work. So that's how you do it.